Okay, we're hitting intercepting today. Let's look at the next technique. We're going to look at pressing. So there are these techniques in Aikido and a few other arts that when they are applied in the films, people call bullshit. It would never work like that. Nobody's just going to give you the arm and let you do magical throws on them. To a certain extent, if you did not understand the principles underneath the transition, you might be right. But there are things that make some of these throws that are, that seem a little bit outlandish that actually makes them applicable, if not practical. Now, today I'm going to be looking at one that I call pressing. All these might have different terminologies in your arts. I kind of name them myself. But we're trying to get beyond arts and look at some of the biomechanics, some of the fundamental principles of movement and interaction that allow us to go beyond technique and into more of a control-based mindset, right? So these are transitions from striking into locking or grappling. And I feel like this is one of the biggest gaps in martial arts in general. And it's a very difficult thing to do well. Why? Strikes come in fast and hard, and locks take quite a bit of skill and sensitivity. So it's not a great matchup, but there are things that increase the odds or the probability of landing a lock. Okay, now, this is your right arm, so we've got a bit of a interaction going here. Now everybody has seen applications of a wrist lock or a tornado throw or some of these things. If you've seen a Steven Seagal or any type of movie with a whipping type throw, you've seen that in action, right? Now the interception always has one of these kinds of circular movements to it. And when we see it, we say, well, I mean, it takes quite a long time, and why would the guy just leave his arm out until you start to understand the mechanics beneath the strike? So I call this particular intercept pressing. You could probably call it a number of different things, but I call it pressing because the idea is as that person is extending the limb, the right hand, the right punch, what I'm essentially trying to do is intercept that in process and extend it toward the joint. So as my right hand is coming towards you, we're looking for this. I'm already extending my arm and straightening it, getting closer and closer to extension of the elbow, right? As this starts to happen, all I need is a little bit of an assist and a push before I'm going to start to lock my own arm out, and what this does is it carries me away from that center. So in boxing, you guys have seen a pari, right? A pretty basic technique. Normally we try to pari from the outside to position ourselves to the outside of that person's body. This type of a pari or a press often happens to the inside because we're looking to control the limb in another way. But as we talked about in the last video, and I'll talk about in most probably, is that this is not just about looking at one technique. That's not good intercepting. I need to be concerned next, at the very minimum, with the tool they have in chamber, right? So if this person knows how to box, or they're familiar with any of the striking arts, there's probably another technique coming pretty quick. So this is the right hand, there might be a left hand coming pretty quick. So a good intercept doesn't look at the one tool, it addresses at least two, if not two plus the entire structure of that person. That's what's going on underneath these intercepts, and it's very difficult to pick up just watching the flashy throws. So as that technique is coming in, a few of the options. One of the most common is we've seen this outside circle and redirect, and this would generally come into a whipping throw type of mechanic. Another one would be a drawing press where I'm crossing my center line. I wouldn't normally recommend this for most, but the theory applies, and if you do it well, the arm gets extended and also drawn. So you say, well, why can't he still strike? Well, this is why. I'm already striking, and now my arm is being pulled and extended, my shoulder is being extended, and I've lost my base already. I can feel myself falling into that movement. And so that's all we're doing. Drawing, circling, and then redirecting. Okay, so in this case, as I apply the press, I'm also going to be probably moving to the outside. so that I'm moving simultaneously away from their chambered hand, and I'm pressing the limb with a little bit more of my body behind it. So press, circle. Now it's not going to look like this on an arm, it's just the principle. Circle down, grab, and rotate over for the throw. That would be a wrist lock, right? Now if I'm moving to the inside, I might enter here, get that slight lift and outward rotation so the arm is kind of lifting and extending this way, right? So I'm stepping in toward them, circling up and around. This hand now is making sure that I'm not getting caught with the chambered hand, pressing until it comes down to support. Now how this might look with my bread and butter, my baby, sash. There's a lot of ways to apply this, but look, for the first version of this that I showed, we're going to be trapping, rotating, and either rolling the fist over or rolling the elbow over, depending on how tight the cinch is. Now again, it's going to look like it's not going to work. This is an incredibly tight cinch, and the reason you're able to wrap the wrist is because you've pressed and locked the elbow, which buys you not much time, but this has to be quick. It gives you enough time to quickly rotate around and finish that throw. Because I've only got one dominant hand when I've got the sash, I'm not going to apply it the same way. So rather than stepping in here, I'm going to actually move to the outside press before locking myself off to the outside. Okay, so the sash allows me to modify that technique in such a way to where I don't need to use two hands to protect. I'm stepping outside the same way. I'm covered, so his hand is covered by his own hand in this case, and I'm able to manage it with just this. Now again, guys, going from a flashy academic study of some of these weapons to something that we might consider the application of real martial arts, you got to get beyond the tools and start to go deeper into the principles. You need to understand how these interceptions are actually increasing the probability of progressing to that next technique. It's not just do this and then they do this and then you do this and grab them and do this. You need to look at how you are manipulating and controlling every step of the transition, because if you don't have this figured out, if you don't understand that pressing here also dislocates or moves that shoulder to the outside line, extends that elbow, and buys you the time required to loop and execute that throw, then you're going to wind up just entering and attempting it, and that person's next technique is going to be flying in right after. There's going to be no chance, right? But looking at those transitions, and maybe we'll look at the footwork involved in another video, because obviously the feet have to carry the body into those positions, right? Anyway, I love this shit. Let me know if you like it. I'm going to be doing, I think, 4 of these in total, just because I'm in the mood. But yeah, anything other, martial arts related, mind body stuff, if something comes to mind that you're curious about, you know the stuff I'm doing, let me know and I'll try to address it. Again, this stuff is not for the beginners. This is more for the intermediate advanced guys, the serious guys who know that this stuff takes a lot of practice and a lot of time and are in it for the love of the art. This is for you, yeah? So, hey, if you like the video, please like, subscribe, and until the next time, be weightless.